Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're going to pick off another few chapters in the book of 1 Corinthians. That's 1 Corinthians 9 through 11. When the Corinthian church first heard these chapters read aloud, it would have hit them right in the cultural pressure points. Corinth was a city obsessed with personal rights, social status, and winning, kind of like the first century equivalent of a competitive, image-driven city where everyone's trying to get ahead. Sound familiar? So when Paul talks about giving up his rights for the sake of the gospel, you can imagine the room getting a little bit tense. So in chapter 9, Paul basically says, look, I'm entitled to a lot of things as an apostle, but I don't cling to any of them. He works with his own hands so no one can accuse him of preaching for cash. He adapts his lifestyle to reach different kinds of people, not in a fake, chameleon sort of way, but in a humble, social or sacrificial way. Today, if we look at this still stands in sharp contrast to our culture of personal autonomy. Paul pushes us to ask, what rights am I willing to hold with an open hand so someone else can see Jesus more clearly? Chapter 10 moves into a warning. Israel's history is a caution sign. They had blessings, miracles, and spiritual privileges, and still drifted into idolatry. Corinth needed this reminder because the city's social life revolved around feasts, temples, and cultural events tied to pagan worship. Paul isn't just giving a theological lecture. He's telling them, you cannot flirt with the old gods and call it harmless. What you worship will shape you. For us, the idols aren't statues in a temple, but the pull is just as real. We worship things like our status, our signature in our email line, our money in our bank account, even our rituals and our families. In chapter 11, Paul brings two huge themes together, unity and the Lord's Supper. Corinth was fractured along class lines. Wealthy believers would show up early to the communal meal and eat the best food, while poorer Christians arrived later for the scraps. The Lord's Supper isn't just a quiet moment of personal devotion. It's a declaration that the ground at the foot of the cross is totally level. When Paul says to examine yourselves, he doesn't mean, have you personally sinned this week? He means, are you living in a way that denies the unity Christ gave you? Are you dividing what Jesus died to unite? For the first hearers, that meant radically reimagining how they treated the poor, the marginalized, and one another. For us today, it means the meal trains our hearts to see the church as family, not consumers, not competitors, but people bound together by grace. So if we put these chapters together, they land with this very simple but deeply challenging call. Lay down your rights, flee the idols that quietly shape your love, and come to the Lord's table as people reconciled by the one who gave everything to reconcile you. Be well, friends.